send you some stuff. I was right in the middle of stuff. And they thought I could get it from where we're interested. He said, just give me your email address and I'll send you something.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for attending. Welcome to Public Forum. Please turn your cell phones to the vibrate, silence, or off setting. The Gary Sansing Public Forum is intended for matters not included on the agenda for the upcoming Board of County Commissioners meeting. Citizens wishing to address items on the agenda should sign up to speak to such items at the regular board meeting. Speakers shall refrain from abusive, profane remarks, disruptive outbursts, protests, or other conduct which interferes with the orderly conduct of the Gary Sansing Public Forum. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes unless otherwise determined by the chairperson to allow sufficient time for all speakers. If 20 or more speakers are signed up, the time will be reduced to 2 minutes out of respect for all attendees. Members of the public who would like to present a visual aid when speaking must submit materials at least 24 hours prior to the meeting via email to submissions@myescambia.com. If you are signed up to speak today and have not already submitted your visual aid, please see a county staff member in the lobby for assistance. Please note that same-day submissions will be determined on a case-by-case basis at the discretion of the BCC chair. At the chairperson's discretion, the Gary Sansing Public Forum may end 5 minutes prior to the scheduled start of the upcoming Board of County Commissioners meeting to allow the Commissioners meeting to commence on time. Tonight we have 10 speakers, so we will be doing 3 minutes per speaker. Our first speaker is Dr. Lester Washington. Dr. Washington, are you here? No? Okay. Tony Hobbs will be next.
Hello, Commissioners. Thank you for your time. For this very serious decision and discussion, I want to say that this is a timing issue for one thing. For Escambia County to have successfully passed customary use, it needed to have been done 50 years ago. It is too late now. In 1978, Escambia County lost the customary use claim in Perdido Key in a final judgment that is now written in stone. Allison Rogers will explain that to you, I'm sure. Escambia County is not allowed to take a second bite of the apple. In layman's terms, it's like double jeopardy. Beyond that, the county would have to prove each of the 4 pillars of customary use, as in the famous Tony Rama case in Florida. Public use must be ancient, reasonable, uninterrupted, and not in dispute. The county cannot show up in court with testimonials specific to beach activities occurring decades ago and win in court. The courts look at whether it was continuous activity. Yes, uninterrupted. Even as customary use arguments were allowed, if they were allowed to be heard again today, the county would have to disprove that dozens of condominiums have now operated their beaches as private property, no trespassing, for the past 20 years or more. You will not be able to disprove a fact. The county has been involved in educating the public that these beaches are private. The county has designed signs, ask Tim Day. The county has paid for them and installed them adjacent to these private beaches. The signs are still erected today. So to win customary use in court, the county would have to erase all of these facts, things that they are in fact were involved in and are still involved in. These are all set in stone. I am concerned that we have commissioners voting on customary use topics when they have stated that they still do not understand the 4 pillars of customary use. The board must have a fundamental education of how this works, regardless of where that education comes from. If you Google it, if you ask Allison Rogers, if you take a seminar. If passed, the lawsuits are next. That is a really bad time to figure out your chances of success are probably less than 10%. Perhaps that is why customary use ordinances are almost non-existent in Florida. Savvy Florida counties know the uphill battle. Listen to Allison Rogers. She is now clearly stating and warning this board of the difficulty involved. We are getting mixed messages from commissioners. Some say they...
Thank you, Tony. We really appreciate your time. Joseph Kleinenpeter, you're next. And after Joseph is Al Confrancisco.
Hello, my name is Joseph Kleinpeter. I'm the president of the Indigo Condominium Association. I've spoken here before. I'm going to echo a number of facts and repeat some of the things about the law to emphasize the point that you've just heard, that we have rights as citizens. We hear people here saying there are only 1,500 of these private condo owners. There are 335,000 other people, and we should be able to just tell you, 1,500 people, that you have no rights. The Constitution, the Fifth Amendment, the 14th Amendment, various other laws, they really don't mean anything for you because you're only 1,500. Well, when we bought our condo at Indigo, and the same thing is true for all of the owners, the 177 owners, we paid quite a premium to be on the beach. The county gave us a deed that said the condominium association, and therefore each of these owners, have the private beach down to the mean high tide line, the high water line. You all know that. We've talked about that many, many times. We have protected our property. We followed all the laws. We've been fabulous stewards of the beach. We take care of all the wildlife. We take care of the dunes, the sand. We keep order. We have a gated community. We have protected our right, the right that you gave us in those deeds, by keeping out trespassers. We require people to wear bracelets. If they don't have it, they have to prove that they belong at Indigo. If they're on the beach trespassing, we do not allow that. We pay more than $2 million in taxes. We bring a tremendous amount of revenue into the county. We support tourism. All of those are facts that are indisputable. We've talked about them before. We've talked about the various laws. We went all the way back to the Magna Carta. That's where private property rights were first written down, 1215. Our Constitution was based on English law, including the private property. Fifth Amendment, 14th Amendment, I've talked about that. So you have a huge hurdle. We are adamant because we have rights. We have rights. And we have something that is worth fighting for. Wisely, Commissioner May said not too long ago that we don't want to pick a fight that we can't win. Well, the odds and the facts and the law are such that we're not going to win. Let's work together to do something that really will improve access to the beach and not trample over our rights. God bless America. God bless the Constitution. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Al Confrancisco? Did I get that right?
Co-Francisco.
Co-Francisco.
San Francisco, Co-Francisco.
Thank you. And then after Al will be Mary Konopka.
Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to speak. As stated already, my name is Al Co-Francisco. While I spoke at the last meeting, some commissioners were not present, so I want to ensure that the full board hears my concern about customary use. Many of the people at the last meeting appeared to be from Districts 1, Districts 2. I want to emphasize that my wife and I are members or residents of District 4, and we feel strongly about expressing our opposition to any attempt to impose customary use on the privately owned beaches of Perdido Key. Over the years, I've watched Escambia County become involved in numerous lawsuits, spending millions of dollars of taxpayers' money on legal fees, often with nothing to show for it. I'm concerned that pursuing customary use will lead us down the same path. Years in the court, millions of dollars spent, and no guarantee of success. As a taxpayer, I do not believe this is a responsible or effective use of public funds. I've seen individuals that were here last meeting have messages on their shirt saying, "Public lands belong to the public." I agree with that statement, and I said that last time. However, the property in question is private property, not public land. In fact, approximately 60% of the beaches at Perdido Key are already publicly available. If the goal is to improve beach access, then let's invest in real lasting solutions. Let's use those resources to acquire additional property and expand beach access in areas that are not already overcrowded. The approach would provide more space, more certainty, and fewer conflicts. The county should work collaboratively with property owners to improve access, not engage in costly legal battles and the risk of dividing the community. There is a practical way forward, one rooted in cooperation, not confrontation. I respectfully ask that you do not lead Escambia County into another expensive and uncertain legal fight. Please reject customary use and instead focus on solutions that will truly benefit the county. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Mary Konopka, you're next, and then Mark Worthington, you'll be after Mary Konopka.
That's Mark Worthen. Before we get started, Lumen May, if at any time, the citizens are here to speak at any meeting, and you choose to employ your signature, apathetic, and disrespectful ploy of leaving the dais, don't let the door hit you in the behind as you're leaving. You're welcome. The law is clear on how to use general funds that the citizens pay. Sporadically through the years, to expect that a handful of young people engaged in their sport to have put Pensacola on the map in the state and across the country, to quote Lumen May, is ludicrous. That is just, and this is the optics, that is an attempt to rationalize an expenditure to buy votes. The righteous chest thumping you guys down there do, your exclamations of home rule and broadened powers, does not give you the right to not abide by Florida statutes. Pensacola has a Tourist Development Council, a Visit Pensacola website. You have kiosks at the airport. The country has thousands of travel agents who know about Pensacola. To tell me that our tax income has increased, our LOST, our TDT, has increased because kids are playing their sports in other cities than Pensacola is a blatant lie. I sure do not see anybody from any other city in Florida coming to Pensacola to bring me their lawnmower to fix. So how is the public, not just a handful of people, but the public benefiting from you using my tax money? There's LEFT funds. You should teach people how to use them, what they need to do to qualify for them. Pam Childers submitted a document in April of 2025 outlining her stance. Yet, Lumen May, you are the one that promised in November 17th, 2025, I was here and I bitched about it. You promised, and then you got the board to vote, and then you can't deliver, and you're blaming it on Pam Childers when she had already.
Thank you, Mary. We
Given
appreciate
you a
your comments. Mark, you're up, and then Margaret Shrewsbury will be after Mark.
This is Mark. He has 20 seconds.
Okay. If Mark's not present, he's not able to speak, but
Well,
thank you.
He's a surveyor in Jacksonville.
Okay,
Said
thank
nobody
you.
heard of
Margaret,
Pensacola
you're
this
up.
week.
And Miss Sylvia, you will be
And
after
I'm
Margaret.
not done with you. You need to go get religion.
And thanks, Mayor, for paying that. Thanks for paying that sales tax when I got my lawnmower fixed.
Good
Not on my records, I checked.
afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for lending me an ear this afternoon. My name is Margaret Shrewsbury. I'm a condo owner at Indigo. on Perdido Key. I'm trying to understand why the Save Our Beach movement has gained so much traction here. I don't see a public beach problem. The issue I keep hearing about is access and parking for the public beaches. I've been coming to these beaches since childhood. I was married here. My 2 children were born in Escambia County. We once had a home on Pensacola Beach, which has always been public. It was deeded to the county in 1947, and we were leaseholders, not owners. In contrast, my condo on Perdido Key sits on land deeded to our association and has never been public. That deeded ownership was a key reason I bought there. I pay property taxes, and our association maintains the property very well. Perdido Key already has 2 large public beach areas, Perdido Key State Park and Johnson Beach, providing about 60% of the coastline for public use. These areas are very lightly used, and while the condo beaches are crowded in the busy season, these areas are very nice to walk to. In fact, when our beach is crowded, that's where I head. I head to the public beaches. Please focus on improving access and parking in public areas, and do not violate private property rights by adopting a customary use ordinance. If it passes, we will all be in court. Thank you for your time and ears.
Thank you, Margaret. Sylvia? And then after Sylvia will be Charles Krupnick.
Good evening. My name is Sylvia, founder of Empower Black Families. I was born and raised in District 3 and remain a resident today. Commissioner May, I reached out to your office requesting a meeting. I was informed that you meet with constituents on Tuesdays, and I provided my availability. I was then asked what my concerns were. I responded, but I never received a follow-up. Why? District 3 is dealing with concentrated poverty, slumlords, and it's a food desert. But what's concerning is this isn't new. Commissioner May, in 2018, you acknowledged pockets of poverty, lack of resources, and poor living conditions. If this has been an issue known for years, then why in 2026 are residents still dealing with the same issues? There's funding for projects like business incubators, community centers, while programs like Extension Services and Safe Neighborhoods, which directly support families, are reduced. Why? I'm seeing outside investors purchasing properties due to liens, demolishing homes, and replacing them with 200K homes. I noticed the gaps while reviewing the county's homeowner repair programs. This is a discussion for a later time. I pulled records for properties the county acquired. Property is being held for years, then sold or transferred to the highest bidder or had Habitat for Humanity. How many residents living below the property line meet their affordability requirements? So I ask, what measurable plans are in place to improve conditions in District 3, especially when some areas are labeled as blighted? I know how CRA and TIF work. What protection plans are in place to prevent displacement? I'm not against redevelopment, but redevelopment that doesn't address housing conditions, poverty, and food access does not solve the problems. It simply shifts it. This is how gentrification begins, not all at once, but gradually. The ongoing gentrification in the city is an example of what's coming to the county. I reviewed the Imagine Jackson Street project. You know what I'm talking about. Thank you. And I'm expecting a meeting with you. Okay?
Well, I appreciate you coming. Jordan, get a number. The way to get a meeting with me is not to come to a public meeting, but get her information, Jordan, and I'll give you a phone call.
My email's in.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So he'll get your number.
Start taking care of
He'll get your number.
Charles Krupnick, if you'll come on up, and then Chris Kerb, you are after Charles.
Charles Krupnick, 14500 River Road, a PK director and opponent of customary use on Perdido Key. I've appreciated very much the burdens commissioners take on. You must make decisions on issues all the way from personal commendations and truck purchases to modifications of multi-million-dollar contracts like the OLFA change you made last time. You must also cope with citizen beliefs and emotions, and sometimes have to make decisions about decorum and personal rights on the fly without immediate staff or legal support. So thank you for the responsibility you've assumed and your good work. I wanted to say this earlier in the customer use debate, but that may have sounded like pandering, which I guess it still is. But I have a complaint. I believe getting to this point in the customer use discussion has been just a bit shabby. The January 8th Committee on the Whole meeting pushed for customary use discussions without the District 1 Commissioner in attendance. And then customary use was added to the March 26th meeting at the last minute, though many proponents of customary use managed to show up at the meeting. And then there was no public input before the Commissioner discussion and vote. Apparently so District 2 Commissioner could participate in the vote prior to leaving. The decision to collect information I thought was also very narrow, focused on proving previous public use of Perdido Key beaches. Would have been better, in my view, if the county staff and legal had been given a broader mission to look into current Perdido Key beach access problems, what are the problems and what are the best way forward. Customer use may not have been a good solution to more beach access if it leads to glaring problems and the need for improvements in infrastructure. Thanks very much.
Thank you, sir. Christopher Kerb. And Chris Kerb is our last speaker for public forum.
How y'all doing this evening? I'm Chris Kerr with Flood Defenders. I've been coming up here for about 5 years telling you about flooding. $88.7 billion for 2 million claims between 1980 and 2025 in the United States through our flood insurance program. That's a lot of money. I wonder how much we pay on interest for that. Oh, that's taxpayers' money. That don't cost us anything, does it? Yeah, it does. $15.6 million for 239 claims in 2025 in the state of Florida. $7.8 billion for 68,574 claims in 2024. $659 million for 8,471 claims in 2023. This comes from floodsmarts.gov, historical NFIP claims. You can put in any state, any county, any year between 1980 and 2025, and you can see the trends on number of claims increasing, cost increasing, and what are we doing about it? Well, you know, I've been coming up here for 5 years telling you need a good plan, you need to invest, you need to maintain what you have, and you need to protect people with your land development code regulations, which you started, but you kind of gave up. You had an ordinance in front of you, and you decided not to pass it. You kicked the can down the road. When y'all gonna bring that ordinance back up? When y'all gonna tell staff to bring that ordinance back up on rainfall data? When you're allowing your engineers to use rainfall data posted in 1979. That's a lot of years of rainfall that we're not using in our stormwater designs. That's historical rainfall data. That's what rainfall hydrology is based off of when you're doing stormwater designs, is the historical data. And our floodplains get bigger, like 11 Mile Creek in Bristol Park. You know, when that subdivision was first built, they didn't have problems with flooding along that creek. How many homes you got flooding in there now in Bristol Park when they're in major storms? Oh, we done bought out 17. Well, we got 49 buyouts right now in Escambia County for repetitive loss flooding properties. When you guys gonna wake up and do something about it? No answer. Crickets.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just want to make a quick comment about beach access. Last Thursday, we had a meeting, and I did talk to the gentleman that owns parcels next to beach access number 3. He actually called me up, and we're sending him out a couple of new appraisals when we get those. He's waiting for those, and when he does, and when he receives those, we'll start talking again. He also informed me that he got a phone call from Ms. Pino that morning, too. She says she hasn't been in contact with them, but that's not true. So I just want to let you know that we're working on more beach access. That is exactly the course of action we should be taking. Thank you.
Great information. We appreciate that. All righty. We will adjourn until 5:30 at our regular scheduled meeting. There is a space shuttle situation going on at 25 after, I believe. So that might be up on the screen if we're here and available. Thank you.
So we will have it on the screen at 5:20. We will have it up.
Yeah, we don't start till 5:30.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.